Hello, hello, my style icons. Welcome back to Life in Style with Brianna Cantore. That is me, and today we have Brooklyn here, my beautiful fur baby. And this is your mental vacation, the best destination to be. Besides maybe Cannes, I'm seeing so many people at the Cannes Lion event. It's a huge marketing celebration that's held in Cannes, France, which is in the south of France. I actually have a friend there. She works it every year. Her company attends and throws these huge, fabulous parties, and it looks like so much fun. She's invited me a bunch of times. I've never been able to go with her, but I hope to go one year. Let's manifest that because it's truly amazing. I vacationed in the south of France once with my friends and we had the best time, and it's great for all kinds of people. It's great for families, it's great for a honeymoon, it's great if you're traveling alone, honestly, because there's so many people out and about partying and having fun. You have the beach, but you also have the disco. It's a great time, and honestly, France is my favorite country. So if you ever get a chance to go, go to Cannes, go to south of France. It is spectacular. Anyways, today we have a fabulous episode for you. We are going to be discussing aging. And when I say discussing, I actually mean celebrating because I think we need to flip the script on aging, change our mindsets about it because it is something we need to be celebrating instead of fearing, honestly. So let's get into it. Aging in style. So when this episode airs, up, bye, Brooklyn. She likes to go sit on the couch. When this episode airs, it's going to be a few days after my birthday. So my birthday is July 9th, and I'm turning 34 years young right now. At the time of filming, I'm 33. And on July 9th, I will be 34 years young. And when I say years young, I mean it because I don't think we should be saying years old. I think that maybe part of the issue that we as women are having with aging. So I want to make a case for something. This is something I noticed. So I'm Italian American. I'm familiar with the Italian language, not fluent, but definitely know some things. And if I were saying my age in Italian, let's say 34, because I'm turning 34, I would say, "Ho 34 anni." I have 34 years. So I wouldn't, it doesn't translate to I'm 34 years old. It translates to I have 34 years. And the same thing goes for the Spanish and French languages, and I'm sure other languages out there that I'm not even familiar with. And something about having those years feels more celebratory rather than like you're losing your youth. Like how we say it in English, I'm 34 years old. That feels like I'm losing something. I'm losing youth and I'm getting old and that's a bad thing. So with that being said, as we age, I think we need to concentrate more on gaining wisdom, waking up another day. This is something I practice every morning. I say, thank you, God, for another day of life and for another day of Brooklyn's life and for another day of my family's and loved ones' lives. Being blessed enough to see another year. I am so blessed to reach 34 years young because not everybody reaches that point. And every day and every year is truly a gift. Aging is a gift. Gaining confidence. So, confidence has been something that I've had to really work on and something that I've had to build up. And now I'm feeling so much more confident than I've ever felt in my life, truly. I am so happy to finally feel confident because I've I hated myself for so long. and I was so mean to myself. And even I've been to therapy, and one of my therapists, a good one, I had one bad therapist, good therapist, he noticed right away that I wasn't confident, and that was something that has really been a journey for me. And I think a lot of us can say the same. A lot of you guys will relate to this, that with age has come confidence. So that's amazing. Why then are we getting upset about aging, right? Growing. I mean, the amount of growth that I've experienced in my life so far is not even measurable. I especially over the last 3 or 4 years, I would say, and really focusing on healing and working on the things that I didn't love about myself and weren't truly reflective of who I am as a person. That growth is so beautiful. And as long as we move through life and recognize when we've done some things wrong or aren't showing up as the person we want to be, then that allows us to grow each year. And growth is a beautiful thing. Building strength. Right now I'm focusing on physically building strength through strength training and exercising, and I feel stronger than I've ever felt before, both physically and mentally. And aging has allowed me to build this strength, has given me the opportunity to grow stronger and enjoying life. I feel like now that I've grown so much and I've learned so much and I've worked on so many different things about myself, I'm now able to enjoy life more, and that has come with aging. These are all amazing, beautiful things that we need to focus on as we age. Here's another interesting thing to remember about aging. If you're getting hung up on the number, my God, I'm turning 25. Oh my God, I'm turning 30. Oh my God, I'm turning 50. Remember, your age is simply information. It's what it is. It's identifying how many years you've been on this earth, you've been alive, and it does not define anything else. It doesn't tell you that you can't go start a new career. It doesn't mean you need to be married. It doesn't mean you can't pick up a new hobby. It's just information. Don't let it affect how you move through life. Don't let the fact that you're turning 30 prevent you from changing careers or breaking up with someone you're in a relationship with because you think you're too old to find someone else. It is information, and that's all it is. So now I want to get into a little bit of a hot button topic. And when I speak about this, it is not coming from a place of judgment. I simply feel called to share my opinion about this topic because I think it may help some people. And that's the only reason why. So I want to talk about cosmetic procedures and aging, and specifically Botox and fillers. So I made a vow to myself to never get Botox and fillers. And there's a few reasons why. One is that I've struggled with inflammation throughout my body, and I'm very, very sensitive. And so I foresee that I would not have a good reaction to those things. I'm not trying to freeze time. And I truly believe that expression in lines add to beauty. So, for example, the other day I was filming something. I was filming a little video of my outfit, and in the video I was laughing. And as I was laughing, you can see some lines form by the sides of my eyes, which is natural. And that's, probably always occurred. And I thought in that moment, not to sound conceited, but I thought I looked so beautiful. And I think why I was reading beauty is because of how much joy my face was expressing. I did not look at myself and be like, "Oh my god, I don't know, I should rethink this. I really need to freeze that. I shouldn't have a line there by my eyes." No, I had the other reaction. I thought I looked stunning. I did look stunning because I looked so happy. Because I was happy, and that happiness was reading on my face in the form of expression lines, right? So I think those lines are so beautiful. I really do. And I wish that more people saw beauty in those lines rather than something that they want to freeze or get rid of or diminish, right? So instead of Botox and fillers, my way of aging is to take as good of care of myself as I can. I focus on eating whole foods. We've spoken about this. I've done episodes about my skincare, both internal and external skincare, two different episodes, so you can go back and listen. And I do things like facials, and I'll do a chemical peel, red light therapy, which, helps our collagen production, right? So natural things that I'm not scared of because it's not injecting something that's could go throughout my body. So that's the way I'm approaching aging, focusing on being healthy, eating whole foods, supporting my collagen, vitamin C, vitamin C rich foods, supporting my aging body with nutrients and detoxing and meditation. Meditation is great for the nervous system and for the mind and for the body. And I truly believe in its connection to helping us age with grace and lightness and beauty. And I look at some of these women in Miami, and in Miami, plastic surgery is very prevalent and pronounced, and in my personal opinion, overdone. And these women, you can tell that they're beautiful, but they've injected themselves so much and they've changed so much about themselves. And I wonder why. I wonder why they went so far. And I don't want to say, oh, that doesn't look good. I'm not here to put people down in their choices. Everyone makes different choices. Everybody has different taste and likes different aesthetics. But I really hope that those women love themselves deep down because it just seems so extreme. And that extremity seems like an act of self hate rather than an act of self love. If you're getting Botox or fillers out of self love because you love the way you look and maybe you just want a little tweak, want a little enhance, go for it. We all do those things. I get my hair colored, right? But when it's so extreme, it just seems like it's not coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of, I hate how I look and I don't want to age and I want to freeze time. And that is not a healthy way to approach aging. Now, not to get a little dark, but I do want to talk about some of the dangers of Botox and fillers. And I'm focusing on those things because those are the most, in my opinion, widely used injections. I don't know how I want to call it, but they're also being used by girls that are so young nowadays that I do just want to bring this up because I don't think it's spoken about enough. But I want to give credit to Organic Bunny on Instagram. I'll link her page in the show notes because she is so knowledgeable on this topic. She does not do injections, and she really does her part in speaking about the dangers of Botox and fillers. And I really commend her for that because it's not the popular opinion, but it needs to be spoken about, especially for the safety and well being of these young girls. So, Botox is a toxin. And when it's injected into you, which it is when you get it done, it can spread. And some of the damages it can do include drooping eyelids, difficulty swallowing, trouble breathing. It can lead to heart attacks and even death. Okay. And it has a black box warning, which is, in, I believe, the most dangerous warning a pharmaceutical product can have. Okay. And when you hear these dangers, a lot of time they're told to you in a way of, well, this rarely happens, but here are some potential side effects. And if you're somebody going into those offices to receive these procedures and you're going there out of a place of self hate and being self conscious and wanting to change your appearance and wanting to look like the celebrity of the moment, you're probably not going to care, right? That there's a possibility that this can spread and lead to a very serious outcome, possibly even death, right? But the reality is, it is a toxin and this can happen. And why we would want to put more toxins in our bodies when we're already overloaded with so many toxins from the food to the environment to clothing, even some clothing has toxins. Why we would electively want to put even more toxins injected right into our body. So think about that for a minute, okay? Now, in doing research for this episode, I've found that 18-year-old girls are getting Botox. And I've gone on social media and I've seen their videos all over TikTok, and I think it's the cool thing to do. And in their minds, they believe they're preventing aging. And what I want to say to them is the only way to prevent aging is to die. I don't mean to be like dark and harsh, but truly, the only way to prevent yourself from aging is death, right? Botox may, this is, some people believe this, some people don't, help prevent some signs of aging, but Botox does not prevent aging. So we need to stop expressing it like so. Now, I've also heard another woman speak about Botox, and she is pro Botox, but how she was saying it was that whether you get injected at 18 or you let the lines form and get the line injected at, say, 38, 40 on a more mature face, the Botox is going to have really the same effect. So why start it so early? And I really appreciated that she explained it that way. I wish I remembered her name, but I believe it was on the Skinny Confidential because that makes me feel a little bit better that there are people out there saying, you know what, you don't need to start this that young. You don't need to start it at all, in my opinion. But if you're going to do it, you don't need to start at 18 years old. I don't even know where they're getting the money to do Botox at 18. But regardless, focus on having fucking fun at 18. Like, don't be I was, like, hanging out with boys, like, smoking a little weed. I was not getting I mean, I still haven't gotten Botox, I won't get Botox, but that was just, like, so not on my radar, like, at 18 years old. I didn't even have a skincare routine, honestly, because nothing worked for my acne, but that's a different story. And I feel the same way about fillers, and actually, this is very, very sad news, but an Estee Lauder exec, I believe he was a vice president, just recently died after cosmetic filler triggered a pulmonary embolism. So the filler blocked an artery in his lungs, and that resulted in death for him. So apparently, what happened was the filler was accidentally injected into a blood vessel, which ultimately led to the deadly pulmonary embolism. And first of all, rest in peace to him. That is truly awful, a tragedy. I know that's not something that happens every day from filler, but let's speak about it because it is something that can happen and did happen. And this was a man who was successful and he was trying to, I guess, erase some of the signs of aging. And unfortunately, now he has passed. And that is truly so sad. I feel awful for him and his family. And unfortunately, these things are happening from cosmetic procedures. I also read about a 26-year-old. She died 18 hours after getting filler injected into her booty, her bum. Rest in peace. That is awful, but 26 years old because she wanted to fill out a portion of her body that she could have gone to the gym and focused on that and obtained a goal realistic to her body type. And instead, maybe she was inspired by some celebrities that have done that to themselves and wanted that for herself. Again, it feels like something that came from a place of self hate rather than self love. Because self love, that brain would have gone to the gym and done the squats and loved her body for what it looks like realistically, right? Now, I want to be very transparent here. I have had one plastic surgery procedure. I had a breast augmentation when I was 21 years old, 21 or 22, and I still have those implants in, my vintage implants, and I don't regret it. I love the way they look. I had 0 complications, thank God. But now that I am so far into my wellness journey, would I go and get implants today if I had never done it? Honestly, I think probably not. And I can confidently say if I didn't have them, I would still love my body. I had perky little boobs and I really grown into a place of self-love. I was not in a place of self-love when I got this done to myself, but now that I am, I I still love the way I look with them, but I would love how I look without them as well. My breast implants do not affect whether I love the way I look or not. And when I do need to replace them, I'll definitely have a discussion about just simply removing them as well. And I'll do what's best for my body and mind at that time. Okay, this is crazy. Story time. I do want to tell this story because I want to raise awareness about what can happen when you go to get a cosmetic procedure done. So just beware. So I went to a very high end medical spa here in Miami Beach. I'm not going to name it because I'm not in the business of putting other people's businesses down. But I went there because, and this was a few years ago, I had, I think it was a broken capillary or some sort of red scar like thing on my nose. And I wanted to see if I can get it removed because there's a lot of great lasers nowadays that help with skin rejuvenation. And this was something that really bothered me. And, I've had this struggle with acne, and now I'm doing my due diligence and healing the scars and the marks it left behind, right? So I went to this medical spa, did my research. It's a great spa. And by the way, I still think it's great just because I had a bad experience with one employee. But anyways, I go in, I speak about that mark. I get it lasered off. It was great. I only required one little zap, and that mark that was giving me such a headache was gone. And then the lady, she was a nurse practitioner that was performing this procedure on me, started talking to me about RF microneedling. She said she thought it would be great for my skin, for the texture, and I wasn't offended by that or anything at all. I knew that I had work to be done on the texture and tone of my skin from all of the acne I've experienced, right? So I listened to her, and I did end up getting one session done, one or two, but to be honest, my skin had such a bad reaction to it. Doesn't mean everyone will, but my skin did not like the RF microneedling. So I stopped that, but I also stopped going to that place because during my second session, she then brought up my eyes. Now, in my view, I have beautiful eyes and I love my eyes, and it's one of the things I'm most confident about. And I get a lot of compliments on my eyes. And I'm not saying this to be narcissistic or so into myself. I happen to believe I have very beautiful eyes, and so do a lot of people. Well, when she looked at my eyes, I guess all she could see were my under eyes, and that she thought they were too puffy, and I don't know. She didn't like how they looked. And she said to me, "Oh, like your skin is looking great now, now, but I'm really a perfectionist, and you would just look so perfect if we injected Renuva into your under eyes. And I do it too, and it's great and it's natural and it makes things grow, and you would just look so perfect. I'm a perfectionist if you got this done." And I was like, "Oh, okay." That was a little bit of an aggressive way to speak about this, but didn't react. I was still on my healing journey and self-love journey, but feeling good enough about myself to stand up for myself and calmly say, "Oh, no, thank you. I don't do injections." And instead of respecting that, she then said, "Why? What, are you scared?" You guys, at that point, I was seeing fucking red. I'm like, "No, bitch, you did not." Like, what? First of all, don't be fooled by my small appearance. Like, I am tough as nails, okay? I am not scared of a needle or things like that. The fact that she responded like that was like insane to me. First of all, respect your client and their choice, right? Like, what the hell? I respectfully said, "No, I thank you. I don't do injections." And that's how you respond? Like, "Oh, why? What, are you scared?" Second, what if I And honestly, I probably didn't. But what if I didn't have the money even to do that and you're trying to sell me something that's very expensive that needs to be injected into me, whether it's natural or not? I don't give a shit. I didn't want it. But that was just like an insane response to me. What are you scared? Well, first of all, her also addressing my under eyes as, oh, I'm a perfectionist and I just really think you need this. That was odd, but I didn't let it bother me because I was so confident in myself and the appearance of my eyes, anyways. And then for her to question why I was rejecting the injections, that was so unprofessional. And honestly, shame on her for addressing me that way. And any other injector or person that works in this field, you should always listen to your clients and respect their decisions on their bodies. And you should be proud of them if they want to age gracefully. And that's what I explained to her too. I said, I that is not an area that bothers me and I am down to age gracefully. And she was like, "Oh." And I think she then proceeded to continue to talk about it, but I didn't let her convince me into something I truly wasn't even self-conscious about, wanted, or felt like I needed. And so I'm sharing that experience as a warning to you too, that you may go into these offices and they may do something similar to you. Don't let somebody convince you that you need to change yourself in any way. If you are confident about your under eyes or the size of your lips or the expression lines, and you go to one of these places and they try to sell you something, just remember number one, how much money they are making off of you, and two, how beautiful you truly are, and that you don't need any of these things. Only get done, if anything, what you actually want to get done. Like for me, that was removing a scar. It wasn't removing the puffiness or expression on my under eyes, which, by the way, a lot of that comes from fluid retention, anyways. So that's a signal from your body that you need to detox, massage it out. It's not something I want to hide. So, moral of the story, don't let people talk you into something that you don't want and stand up for yourself in those types of situations. And respectfully, you don't need to. I was not nasty at all. I just respectfully declined that and never went back to that place. Okay, my last note about aging is timeline. And I want to start this section by reading a little quote from a poem I had written years ago titled Building Strength. It says, "Life is not a competition, it's a journey of building strength." And what I mean by that is, at that time I was feeling really down about the timeline of my life. And even to this day, now I've done a lot of work on myself since then, and I'm feeling really great and really confident. But there's a side to aging that if you aren't, if your timeline isn't lining up to most of the people around you that you're friends with and whatnot, it can get some weird thoughts can creep into your brain, right? Luckily, I'm in a great place now, but looking back to when I was a child, did I think I would be 34 and single, no children? Honestly, no. I thought that I'd probably be married by 30 ish and maybe have some kids by now. And that my timeline ended up differently. And I'm on a different timeline than a lot of my friends who are married and have kids. But my timeline is unique to me, just like your timeline is unique to you. We all are on different timelines, and we need to trust the universe in that we will have everything we want. It's just not necessarily going to happen at the time that we think it's going to happen, and that's okay. And don't let your age affect your timeline. I definitely know people that have settled down because of their age and not because the person they were with was like necessarily their soulmate. Gonna be honest with you. And now I see people that got married really early and now maybe they're getting divorced, which is fine. I've divorced parents, nothing against divorce, but it's like we're all on different timelines. And for me, entering my 34th year, if I were in a negative mindset, I'd be like, what the fuck? You're 34. You're such a loser. You don't have a man. You don't have a ring, a baby, starting a new career. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But I'm in a healthy place and I'm entering 34 feeling really empowered and confident. And like, for the first time in my life, I'm truly experiencing happiness. I've dealt with anxiety and depression for a lot of my life, and it feels like I have that very much so in a better place than I did before. And I feel strong and I'm pursuing my dreams. I've been pursuing a freelance career in fashion for so long, and I'm taking this new direction with this podcast and really putting content out there on social media. Like, right on at 34 freaking years old. And there's probably people looking at me like, what the fuck is she doing? Who does she think she is? And I don't care. Like, I'm doing me. I'm living on the timeline that is destined for me. I know love will come into my life. I know he's out there somewhere. And the reality is, if I had settled down with a guy before reaching this level of self love and respect for myself, it would have been the wrong person. I was accepting love from people that weren't really nice to me. And that was coming out of a place of self hate, not a place of self love. So, with that being said, don't rush your timeline. Let it unfold beautifully and as intended by the universe or God or whoever you believe in. For me, it's a mix of both. I'm more spiritual than I am religious, but I do believe in God and I pray to Him. And really just focus on aging with beauty and grace and love and enjoying every moment that you're blessed to be able to experience. Flowers don't all bloom in the same season. I wrote that down. Beautiful quote. Remember that when you're feeling iffy about your timeline. Flowers don't all bloom in the same season. So, with that being said, that is it for today. We are aging with style and grace and doing all things out of self love. My outfit of the day is, well, my top is by Monday Swimwear, and my skirt is by Staud. I'll link these pieces in the show notes. And I want to end every episode with a positive affirmation. So today's affirmation is, I am grateful for each new day. I am grateful for each new day. Say that to yourself, look in the mirror, and say, I am grateful for each new day. Gratitude is a beautiful practice. We should be practicing gratitude each and every day. And with that being said, this episode is in support of Feed the Children organization, a leading anti hunger nonprofit. Is worldwide. I'm a donor. Please check them out. If you like this content, like and subscribe to this podcast. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.